Hello, my abnormal family. Got another encounter for you, but before we get to that, if you would like to support bringing my son home, all the links are in the description of this video to where you would be able to assist. And if you're wondering what's going on, there's a video out called Bring Hunter Home on my page if you watch that. And the other video, which both have the same looking thumbnail, they will explain everything. Let's get into this. It was August and my cousins' ages ranged from 10 to 15, and I was the youngest, being 10. I was staying with an 11, 13, and 14-year-old. We stayed up telling scary stories often, but one night, a few weeks in, we decided to make a campfire out back. My grandma's house is in a rural suburb. The neighbors aren't too far when you're driving down the road to her house, but in the backyard is thick forest, with man-made paths throughout. Each house is on a hill, so only part of the basement was actually underground. That isn't important until later, though. So afterwards, the east side of her yard is a smallish patch of open land. You could see the neighboring yards from there, and there was probably 3/4 of a mile to each side of us that belonged to my grandma. It was maybe 11 at night, and we were playing Truth or Dare after telling scary stories, and my 14-year-old cousin dared me and the 13-year-old to go walk through the paths for 10 minutes or so. I said yes right away. I wasn't easily scared and rather level-headed, but my older cousin was a bit more hesitant. We didn't bring a flashlight because it wasn't pitch dark yet, and we could see enough to be able to see around. We were walking through the paths for about 5 minutes and could barely see the fire through the trees when we decided to turn. In the middle of the path was a large dog creature, hunched over with its front hands an inch from the ground. What I remember most was how its eyes were so bright white, and it was a humanoid dog shaped with a human head, but a dog-like body but human hands and feet. It looked right at us. And I know I was paralyzed with fear as it dashed away the opposite way from us, towards a creek that ran through the yard. Eventually my cousin and I screamed bloody murder, and the other cousins and my grandma ran to us. I don't remember much here because I was really disoriented and I couldn't think properly. But I did wake up in bed as we had made it back home. So I assumed that night brought up to the house. Okay, what he's trying to say, guys, is what happened, he believes, brought it up to the house. All the kids slept in the basement, in a big room with sliding glass doors to the outside. As the room was on the side that wasn't underground, my bed was pressed against a big glass window, and I could see my cousins playing outside down below. The house is in Michigan, so it gets slightly chilly even in the end of August, and there was a slight breeze, so I put on a jacket and ran to join them outside. Skipping breakfast, not wanting to miss out on anything or any fun. When I got down, I could tell they weren't playing, but rather running to get my grandma. Her dogs, both of them, were dead, ripped up. That night, we went to bed early. I woke up to maybe 2 in the morning because I felt something hit my head. My cousins were all sitting in the bed, double bed opposite of me on the other side of the room. There was one bunk bed and 2 double beds. The double beds for me and my 14-year-old cousin. They were being quiet and staring at me. The 13-year-old nodded his head toward the window. I froze. They all looked afraid. I turned my head slightly to the side and I saw what really messed up face. It was pushed up against the window, with gaping eyes looking down at me. I screamed so loud, and it bolted. My grandma called the police after I told her what happened, and they found nothing. I went home after that, and I have never been there during the night again. It kind of goes what we talked about the other night, guys. If you have an encounter with one of these on purpose or on accident, it seems like after you do, they follow you home, and after that, you continue to have instances of encounters. It did come up to her house, and it killed her animals. We didn't have that at my granny's so much, except for just I lost one dog. But it sounds like this thing killed all their dogs. So I believe that if you're out and about and you accidentally have an encounter with one of these things, you should probably be careful because the odds are it's probably going to end up at your house and probably bother you from now on when you're in the woods. Let me know what you thought about this Sunday drop, guys. I will drop it a little earlier, I think, maybe, than I do the rest of them, or I may drop it later, just depending on what I decide to do. But I wanted to do a short Sunday video. I hope you all enjoyed it. I think that's pretty much all I got for now. So until next time, keep your head on a swivel, don't be something's dinner, and thank you all so very much for your support.